All right, so think about this. Bugatti builds the Veyron, a car that just completely rewrites the rulebook for what's possible. It shatters every record. So after 8 years, when they finally stop making it, everyone is asking the same thing.
I mean, put yourself in their shoes for a second. You've just created the Veyron, the first true hypercar. You've literally changed the game. So the pressure is on. Your next move can't just be a new car. It has to be better. Way, way better. So yeah, that's the big question, right? How do you top the undisputed king? Well, the answer rolled out in 2016, and it was called the Chiron. To really get what makes this thing tick, you gotta start with its heart. Now, to get more power, Bugatti didn't just, tweak the old W16 engine. No way. They redesigned pretty much the whole thing. The target was a ridiculous 1,500 horsepower, a full 25% more than the Veyron. But squeezing that much juice out of an engine that's basically two V8s bolted together, well, that creates some absolutely wild engineering problems. To give you some perspective on that power, get this. When it's at full throttle, the W16 engine inhales 60,000 liters of air every single minute. That's more air than you breathe in an entire week. All that power also creates an insane amount of waste heat. We're talking over 3,000 horsepower's worth of just heat. Enough to literally melt the car into a puddle on the road. So to stop that from happening, the Chiron is packed with 10, yes, 10 radiators. That's more than most houses have. And to keep all those radiators fed, there's a massive coolant pump that circulates 800 liters of water through the engine every minute. It's just this constant, high-speed flood designed to keep this thing from having a total meltdown. So how did they actually hit that 1,500 horsepower number? The secret sauce is a trick called two-stage turbocharging. From a stop, only 2 of the 4 huge turbos are spinning. But once you hit about 3,800 RPM, wham, the other 2 kick in. You get this absolutely seamless tidal wave of power with zero, and I mean zero, turbo lag. Oh, and of course it needs the largest clutch ever put in a passenger car just to handle it all. Okay, so numbers on a spec sheet are cool and all, but they're just numbers. Bugatti had to go out and prove it in the real world. So they called up racing legend Juan Pablo Montoya and asked him to do something, well, something nobody had ever done before. The mission was simple. Go from 0 to 400 kilometers per hour, then brake back down to 0 as fast as humanly possible. The Chiron hit 400 in just over 32 seconds. Then its massive rear wing pops up, acting like an air brake, and brings the car to a dead stop in an insane 9.3 seconds. The grand total for the whole run? Just under 42 seconds. Absolutely mind-blowing. And Montoya's reaction really says it all. The wildest part is that he said he felt so safe and stable in the car that he did the record run without even wearing a helmet or a full race suit. He said it felt as solid as a normal road car, just one that happens to be able to bend time and space. Look, having 1,500 horsepower is one thing, but actually getting that power to the ground and then stopping it all, that's a whole different ballgame. Raw power means nothing without the tech to control it. Just take the brakes. To handle those crazy stopping forces, Bugatti came up with the world's first ever 3D printed titanium brake caliper. Yeah, you heard me. This is legit aerospace technology. It's not only stronger than the old forged aluminum parts, but it's also a whopping 40% lighter, which is a massive deal when you're talking about performance. And remember, all that power, all that braking, it all has to go through 4 little patches of rubber. So Bugatti teamed up with Michelin to create a totally custom tire. They even had to use a test rig that was built for the space shuttle just to make sure the tires wouldn't, just vaporize at those speeds. And the forces on these tires are almost impossible to imagine. At 400 kilometers per hour, every single gram of rubber is being pulled outwards with the force of 3,800 Gs. That's 3,800 times the force of gravity. It is an absolute miracle of science that they don't just fly apart. But as incredible as that 0 to 400 record was, that was just the opening act. Bugatti had its sights set on an even crazier, almost mythical barrier, one that no production car had ever broken. And in 2019, they did it. On their test track in Germany, a special Chiron officially hit 304.773 miles per hour. That's 490 kilometers an hour. The legend was cemented right then and there. It was, and still is, just an unbelievable achievement. But every story has an end. And after 8 years and a super limited run of just 500 cars, the Chiron era officially came to a close in 2024 with one last, very special model. It's called L'Ultime, which is French for the final one. And this last car was designed from the ground up to be a tribute to the Chiron's entire journey. It's a rolling celebration of everything the car achieved. What makes it so special is the paintwork. The body is covered in this incredible handwritten script that names all the places and events that defined the Chiron, from its debut in Geneva to that record-breaking 300-mile-per-hour run. History is literally written all over the car. Bugatti's president himself called it a fitting farewell. And he's right. It wasn't just the end of an era for the Chiron. It was the end for that iconic W16 engine, which has been the absolute soul of Bugatti hypercars for nearly 2 decades. The Chiron proved that even when you're at the very top, you can always aim higher. It pushed the absolute limits of speed, technology, and art. So, with the final chapter of the W16 now officially written, it just leaves you wondering, what impossible thing is Bugatti going to do next?